This is Alaska, a wilderness of uncommon beauty. From the majesty of Mount McKinley to the enchanting waters of Prince William Sound, from the fjords of the Inside Passage to the mighty Yukon River. At Gray Line of Alaska, this is our home, and we're ready to show you all the sights this great land has to offer. No matter how you prefer to travel, Gray Line of Alaska can get you to your destination in comfort and style. Whether by motor coach or the luxury dome cars of the McKinley Explorer, you can ride our day boats on Alaska's pristine waterways or raft a scenic river. You can walk on a glacier or stroll the boulevards of Alaska's cities. Let your imagination wander and leave the rest to us. Together with our parent company, Holland America Line West Tours, we've led the way in Alaska sightseeing for over 40 years. From Ketchikan on Alaska's Panhandle to Prudhoe Bay, our air tours and famed highway excursions link one exciting part of Alaska to another. Let's start in the scenic southeastern. It's called the Panhandle, a collection of more than 1,000 islands and inland waterways, impenetrable forests, and massive glaciers. Stretching 550 miles along a thin ribbon of mainland, it's the starting point for many Alaskan vacations. Communities include Skagway, Haines, Juneau, Sitka, and the first city on our itinerary, Ketchikan. Ketchikan, known as the salmon capital of the world. Accessible only by air or by sea, this port city welcomes the visitor with a wide variety of shore excursions. Within walking distance from the dock is Ketchikan's infamous Creek Street, once the notorious red light district. Our Salmon Falls tour will take you to Ketchikan's famed Totem Bite Park, where you'll learn the lore and legend of Alaska's Indian culture. After a seafood buffet at Salmon Falls Resort, we'll whisk you to Misty Fjords National Monument, a pristine wilderness just 20 minutes away by air. Juneau is Southeast Alaska's largest city and the state capital. Perched between towering Mount Juneau and Gastineau Channel, it's often called the most scenic state capital in the country. Downtown Juneau, with its false-fronted buildings and frontier saloons, has retained the flavor from its gold rush beginnings. The skyline mixes a bit of the old and the new. Our Gray Line motor coaches will take you past the state capitol building with its marble pillars. You'll see the colonial-style governor's mansion built in 1912. We will also show you the life cycle of the salmon with a stop at a local salmon hatchery. Perhaps you'd like to see Juneau's drive-up glacier, the mighty Mendenhall. You can either drive to the Mendenhall and walk near its face, or lift off for a bird's-eye view of this giant river of ice. Whether it's walking on a glacier, or a thrilling float trip down the Mendenhall River, Gray Line of Alaska can help you plan an exciting time in the state capital. A thrilling tour option out of Juneau is an adventure to Glacier Bay National Park. This pristine wilderness park with its 16 tidewater glaciers is still emerging from the last ice age. You'll cruise or fly to the park entrance and then begin an unforgettable journey in Glacier Bay. Juneau is at the southern end of Lynn Canal, North America's longest and deepest fjord. In days past, steamships carried prospectors north up Lynn Canal to the gold fields. Today, you can enjoy the same exciting trip on board Gray Line of Alaska's MV Fairweather. You'll board the Fairweather at our Yankee Cove dock, where you're welcomed aboard by our captain and crew. Then we'll shove off for the 75-mile trip. Along the way, the finest scenery Alaska has to offer. The Lynn Canal Cruise is an experience our past customers list as a highlight of their Alaska vacation. In Skagway, you're welcome with Gold Rush hospitality. These boardwalks were once trodden by miners hoping to make it rich in the Klondike. Among them, the infamous Soapy Smith. You'll learn all about Soapy's exploits in the Days of '98 melodrama. Leaving Skagway, you'll board the historic White Pass and Yukon Railroad. The steam engine pulls the vintage parlor cars through town. Then a powerful diesel engine takes over for the ride to White Pass. Back in 1898, stampeders followed this same course, carrying 2,000 pounds of provisions over the mountains and on to the gold fields. When you reach the summit, you'll board the deluxe Alaska Yukon Explorer. You'll travel to Whitehorse, Canada in style aboard this luxurious 60-foot coach, complete with a lounge in the back. Alaska and the Yukon are known for bountiful wildlife. But if you haven't seen any wild animals on your vacation, we can guarantee you wildlife sightings at the Yukon Wildlife Preserve. Located just outside of Whitehorse, the preserve allows you the opportunity to view these grand creatures, all in their natural setting. From Whitehorse, we take two routes through Canada's scenic Yukon. One follows the famed Alaska Highway through Beaver Creek and on to Fairbanks, Alaska. Or if the spell of the Yukon grabs you, you can follow the gold rushers to Dawson City on the Yukon River. Dawson City was built along the banks of the Klondike and Yukon rivers. During its heyday, it was home to 30,000 gold-hungry prospectors. When they weren't panning for gold, they likely were paying a visit to diamond-toothed Gerties, and you should too. You'll leave Dawson City in style aboard Gray Line of Alaska's Yukon Queen. This is a Gray Line exclusive, an unforgettable cruise on the Yukon River. At the turn of the century, this mighty river carried miners all the way to the western shores of Alaska. You'll travel in comfort 100 miles to Eagle, Alaska. Along the way, you'll see an old stern-wheeler graveyard, a reminder of the era when the paddle wheel churned the silty waters. You'll also pass historic Gold Rush ghost towns like 40 Mile River, and you'll cross the Alaska-Canada border. The scenery along the route is spectacular, and the hospitality superb. You'll have stories to tell your children and grandchildren about the time you traveled the mighty Yukon. Your Yukon voyage ends at Eagle, Alaska. From this historic town, you'll take a scenic flight to Fairbanks, the hub of Alaska's interior. Known as the Golden Heart of the Interior, Fairbanks welcomes the visitor with open arms and a wide variety of tour options. Our friendly Gray Line of Alaska representatives will greet you upon arrival and make sure you're able to make the most of your visit. Perhaps you've got the fever and you'd like to pan for gold, or tour historical Gold Dredge number 8. Our city tour will show you the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. You'll walk in its shadow as your driver tells you about the 800-mile-long wonder that carries crude oil from Prudhoe Bay to the seacoast at Valdez. If gardening is your hobby, you'll enjoy a stop at the University of Alaska's Botanical Gardens. Another must-see is the University Museum. The highlight for many visitors to Fairbanks is a trip aboard the Sternwheeler Discovery. 3 generations of the Binkley family have run riverboats in Alaska and the Yukon, and the trip today is no less exciting as it was during the gold rush of 1898. You'll ride the Discovery on a scenic 20-mile cruise down the Chena and Tanana rivers, past dirt airstrips where Alaskan bush pilots take off and land on a daily basis. Along the way, you'll also see fish wheels used by Alaska natives, and stop at a Chena Indian village, where you'll see a dog sled demonstration by Mary Shields and learn about native hunting and fishing. From Fairbanks, Gray Line of Alaska can also show you the land above the Arctic Circle. We can jet you to the top of the world, to Barrow, an Eskimo settlement on the Arctic Ocean. Or you can board a deluxe Gray Line coach for a magnificent ride up the Dalton Highway to Prudhoe Bay, the largest oil field yet discovered in North America. You'll travel the 400-mile Hall Road, used to construct the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. This is the ultimate road trip, ending with an unforgettable day of sightseeing at Prudhoe Bay. You'll return by jet to Fairbanks or Anchorage. Rising 20,307 feet, spectacular Mount McKinley, the tallest peak in North America. Alaska natives called it Denali, the Great One. Gray Line of Alaska offers endless combinations of ways to see Mount McKinley and Denali National Park. Our luxurious private rail cars of the McKinley Explorer will whisk you through Alaska's heartland between Fairbanks and Anchorage, stopping at spectacular Denali National Park. Through the glass-domed cars, you'll have an unobstructed view of the spectacular scenery and wildlife. On board the McKinley Explorer, Alaska's extraordinary wilderness is set before you, and all the while, you'll enjoy the comfort and luxury of traveling by rail. From our domed lounge, you can also step down to our private dining car for a gourmet meal prepared on board by our chefs. The luxurious McKinley Explorer has rapidly become one of Gray Line of Alaska's most popular features. Your destination is the crown jewel of America's national parks, Denali National Park and Preserve. This is a special place. 6 million acres of tundra, spruce forests and mountains, and of course, the mountain. Denali is home to a multitude of wild creatures, from Dall sheep living on the cliff's edge, to grizzly bears foraging below. The Denali tour will take you deep into the park, and while you're there, you may see wildlife at close range. It's an unforgettable experience in this breathtaking natural setting. Sparkling in the shadow of Mount McKinley is Anchorage, the state's largest city. Anchorage is a transportation hub with flights connecting to remote corners of Alaska and all over the world. Anchorage is a cosmopolitan community built on the edge of Cook Inlet. 2 centuries ago, Captain James Cook sailed up these waters in search of the Northwest Passage. Today, Gray Line of Alaska is helping new adventurers discover the secrets of the last frontier. Our most popular local tour will take you along the shore of Turn Again Arm, where Captain Cook was forced to turn again. Your destination is Portage Glacier, but en route, there's a good chance you'll see Dall sheep along the highway. At least, they'll see you. In the silt-filled water, look for beluga whales. At Portage Lake, you'll board our sightseeing vessel, the MV Ptarmigan. The Ptarmigan was specially built for sightseeing on Portage Lake. Be sure to have plenty of film because you'll soon be face to face with Portage Glacier. The 1-hour cruise, narrated by U.S. Forest Service naturalists, is a journey back to an age when glaciers dominated the landscape. The face of Portage Glacier rises 100 feet above the water and hundreds of feet below. The view is awe-inspiring. You'll treasure memories of this trip for a lifetime. With Gray Line of Alaska, your itinerary out of Anchorage is only limited by your imagination. Gray Line can arrange a tour to the remote Pribilof Islands in the Bering Sea. The bird cliffs and seal rookeries below offer outstanding photographic opportunities. Let us take you to Kodiak Island, Alaska's fishing capital and former Russian America stronghold. You can experience Alaska's Gold Rush heritage and Eskimo culture in Nome and Kotzebue. Kotzebue is home of the Living Museum of the Arctic, where you'll enjoy the song and dance of the Northern Lights Eskimo dancers. For the fishermen, we've created a deluxe fish camp adventure. How about 3 days of fishing on the Kenai River, where you can wrestle with the largest salmon in the world? Gray Line also offers motor coach and rail trips to Seward, gateway to Kenai Fjords National Park. A day-long cruise will take you from Resurrection Bay to the Chiswell Islands, home to thousands of seabirds and a noisy population of stellar sea lions. You'll also see the magnificent glaciers of the Harding Icefield. The most popular trip out of Anchorage is a thrilling journey to Columbia Glacier, star attraction of Prince William Sound. The Columbia Glacier is the second largest tidewater glacier in North America. Icebergs as large as skyscrapers clog the water in Columbia Bay. Columbia is 41 miles long and 4 miles wide at its face. Your trip will take you overland from Anchorage to Valdez. En route, you'll pass through the fertile Matanuska Valley, home of Alaska's famed giant cabbage. We'll also stop at Worthington Glacier and witness the spectacular waterfalls of Keystone Canyon. The Port of Valdez is your gateway to Prince William Sound and Columbia Glacier. While here, let Gray Line of Alaska show you the oil terminal of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. From Valdez, giant oil tankers load with North Slope crude to supply 10% of the nation's demand for oil. There's no better way to see Prince William Sound and Columbia Glacier than on board our dayboat, the Glacier Queen. As you cruise towards the glacier, watch for porpoise and sea lions in this marvelous marine playground. Once arriving at Columbia Glacier, our captain will weave the Glacier Queen towards the face of this mighty river of ice. As you cruise along the ice floes, you'll likely see harbor seals basking in the afternoon sun. This truly is a must-see attraction for all visitors to the great land. From Columbia Glacier, you'll continue your cruise on to Whittier at the east end of Prince William Sound. There, your motor coach will drive onto a flatbed car of the Alaska Railroad for a trip through a series of mountain tunnels, and then you return to Anchorage. Wherever you travel in Alaska and Canada's Yukon, you can rest easy with Gray Line of Alaska and our sister company, Westmark Hotels. All along our routes, you can depend on having a cozy bed and a delicious meal in Westmark's fine dining rooms. You'll also find an excellent selection of gifts in Westmark's convenient hotel gift shops. Gray Line of Alaska takes pride in our employees and the service we provide in the Northland. No matter what you want to see or when you want to see it, we can help plan the perfect Alaskan vacation. To find out more about Gray Line of Alaska's thrilling Alaska tours and excursions, please see your travel agent or call us on our toll-free number. Thank you for watching our video. We hope to see you soon in Alaska, the last frontier.